Welcome to WIC Live. I am Kayla Kinnear. I'm here with Dan Selke. Dan, how's it going?
Pretty good, Kayla. Having a nice day. Yourself?
I was going to say we weren't here last week, but we were. It was the week before that.
Missed 2 weeks ago, yeah, Thanksgiving.
Okay.
You went to New York. You had a good time at home?
Maybe that's it, yes. I was gone over the weekend.
Right. And we're here to talk about all things Game of Thrones, all things Song of Ice and Fire. As usual, there's lots of stuff brewing because they're filming Game of Thrones Season 7 at the moment. Always stuff coming in. We'll talk about your ongoing journey through the show. You just watched the 4th episode of Season 2, or the one where Melisandre gives birth to a demon shadow person.
What was that?
We'll talk about that a little later. But first, I want to start really quickly by saying that, unfortunately, Peter Vaughn, who's an actor who's been on the show for 4 years, played Maester Aemon. You might remember him from Season 1. Died at the age of 93 this week.
That's so sad.
That is very sad.
Was he still in the show?
He had died by the time he left the show, so you don't have to write him out. Like, his character dies in Season 5.
Okay.
Of old age, so like one of the nicer deaths on the show, actually.
He didn't get killed. That's nice.
He did not get, he didn't get murdered or anything. Anyway, he passed, and just want to appreciate him. Rest in peace. Now his watch has ended, as they say in the Night's Watch. He was part of the Night's Watch.
Do you think he'll have like a Game of Thrones themed funeral?
I really doubt it. I hope they might do like a little tribute to him at the end of the next episode or something. Any case, so goodbye, Peter Vaughn. Thanks for everything you brought us on the show and in your long career. Also, I want to note that this beautiful Game of Thrones Season 1 to 6 box set, currently on the market, hopefully we'll be giving it away on this show sometime in the near future, available.
Will it be in time for Christmas, or do we know yet?
I hope so. I hope so. Okay. I hope so.
That's our goal.
We're trying to get it done. And also the Phantom 250 came out.
Yes.
Fans had this list of 250 Phantoms across the world of sport, entertainment, fashion, birds, whatever, and that Game of Thrones fans were number 4.
It's pretty high.
Pretty high. I'm not sure if they could have done a little better. Maybe they just had number 1. Possibly you think that, but
1 went to the Cubs, which is debatable.
1 went to the Cubs, 2 went to Star Wars, 3 went to Beyonce, I think. And
stiff competition.
It is stiff competition. I'm not saying that these people don't deserve it. And 4 was Game of Thrones. We'll see. Yes.
Well
Definitely
done.
golf claps all around. We'll see what happens. Maybe next year they can pull out a number 1 win if it gets even bigger. Because the show always keeps getting bigger. And without further ado, we're going to get into what may happen during the next year of Game of Thrones in Season 7. Because there are spoilers and hints coming out the sides of the production, as there tend to do. Starting with Miss Sophie Turner, who plays, there are going to be spoilers in here, so just be forewarned, who plays Sansa Stark, has been giving a lot of interviews lately, a ton, which, by the way, can be a bad sign, because in
She's not still filming.
Right, there's that. In past years, they tend to, like, have a person give a ton of interviews if that person's going to die that year.
Oh, no.
It's a general pattern that I've seen a couple of times. And it's getting me a little bit nervous for what might happen to Sansa in Season 7. She's saying some interesting things, too. She's teased to Entertainment Weekly that Sansa goes on a bit of a power trip in Season 7, is kind of insecure about her position. Told The Wrap that Jon and Sansa have some tension between them, that they don't quite work together yet, and she probably has to be Queen of the North herself for a while, and that she's afraid that Jon isn't listening to her as much. So it seems like there's going to be some tension between the half-siblings coming in Season 7 by the sound of this.
Okay.
Which would be too bad, because, they're family, and they got along really well, pretty well in Season 6. Make a good team. But I'd be curious to see, I'm not sure if you guys would too, where that relationship goes. She also said, though, that Jon is restoring her faith in men to another interview, which I think, as you're seeing now, she's going through a rough patch. And
I don't think it would take much for someone to restore her faith in men.
No? I mean, after Joffrey.
Joffrey's the worst. So even, like, the tiniest bit of nice.
Remember that she's very young. Like, if, I don't know, you think, like, maybe if it gets in there at a young age, like, you're biased for life.
Yeah.
In terms of certain things. So we'll see how that plays out in Season 7. By the way, if you ever have any questions or comments about any of this, we do have Mark Carmen manning the switchboards, taking your questions, taking your comments, relaying them to us so we can talk about them. Anything so far, Mark?
There's a comment from Kalia, who says she's
Kalia.
all caught up in the books. Oh, she's all caught up on the show, and I'm just now finally reading the books. I'm so excited. And there's a comment from Tyler here that says that he thinks the Cubs should have been number 1.
Did you just make that up? Oh, never mind. Someone in the office.
Anyway, Kalia, it'll be fun for you, I'm sure. The books are pretty different than the show, so hope you enjoy that. And I can't argue with the Cubs being number one. Tyler, whoever that is from the comments here. It's definitely a good pick. Game of Thrones is 4. I'm pretty happy with that. I just think maybe next year, after the Cubs don't win the World Series for the first time in over 100 years, they might be kind of by something else.
Ooh, damn.
Dan with the hot takes. I agree, though.
It's not hot. I mean, it is. This is a once in a 100+ year event. Good for them. But maybe next year it'll be different. And moving on, let's move on to some Season 7. It can't possibly happen again next year. To some Season 7 spoilers. We got some pics and some video coming in from the set. Kit Harington, Jon Snow, is at a set at Wolf Hill Quarry near Belfast. They built like this giant snowy expanse outdoors, like it's a good square acre of just like fake snow and a frozen lake they're making out there. So that's pretty cool. And he's there filming something or other, not quite entirely sure what. And also, filming is winding down on a giant battle at El Barranco de Arriba in Spain. They're filming this big, huge battle scene, basically Lannisters versus Daenerys and her Dothraki army. Ooh. And we have some videos here from Oi. He's been posting a couple of shots. I mean, obviously they're going to a big deal, like a big to-do here, right? That's a lot of intense smoke. It takes money to make all that smoke, the smoke machines. And then this image from Los Siete Reinos, kind of the aftermath of the battle, looks pretty brutal. All those guys.
Looks pretty grim.
Yeah, looks pretty grim. All those guys on it. But again, you don't like the Lannisters, so if the Lannister dead soldiers on the ground, maybe it's a good thing for you.
I hope Joffrey's in there.
You hope yeah, no, I think we all do. But anyway, it's going to be very big. You can see they're expending resources on it. I mean, they obviously had a ton of extras. I think those are actually like prop bodies propped up against the ground. But it's going to be pretty elaborate, and I'm looking forward to seeing.
What are prop bodies?
They're just, because there's a close-up of this. It's clearly like a man, you know, like a model that you do like fake CPR on or something.
Really? They use fake bodies?
I mean, they don't use them all the time, but I looked at this shot closely. If you zoom in on this guy, it's another shot that's closer. You can see that he like has no face.
Oh.
It's like a fake face.
Okay.
And they have lots of resources available to them. And also, excitingly, a video leaked from the set, from behind the scenes of the set. Mm-hmm. And you just watched it.
I did.
What happened in that video?
Someone caught on fire and basically blew up.
Pretty interesting. It's fun to get that behind the scenes look.
They like shot fire on him and he was engulfed in flames and
when he dies, he yells out Khaleesi, and then it goes down. Now, we're thinking, you know, big ball of fire, probably dragon fire?
Perhaps.
Is what I'm thinking.
It looked like the person who shot it was in an outfit that could be used with a green screen or something.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, I don't think anything else in the show can really make that kind of giant fireball, so I'm thinking it has to be dragons. Daenerys probably tells them, burn that person. I don't know why, but it happens. You can watch that video, Winter is Coming, a fun little look. And before we get into Kayla's ongoing journey through the show, a bit of odd news for you. Oh, do we have a question?
Jim Pickering, Dan, wants to know, does Arya meet up with her wolf in the show?
Does Arya meet up with her wolf in the show? After she chases it off early in season 1, she hasn't met up with it yet. But you know, the wolf is still out there, so there's always hope in season 7. And she's back in Westeros now. Who knows? Hopefully she does, because that wolf is neat. Before we move on to the Kayla's episode, a little bit of fun news for you. And I'm not kidding about this. Multiple sources reporting that Conor McGregor, UFC star, is going to star in either season 7 or 8 of Game of Thrones.
That's actually a perfect role for him.
How so?
He's crazy.
Is he crazy?
And he's Irish.
He is Irish. That's a good point. He wouldn't have to fake an accent or anything.
Exactly. It's got that down.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Maybe he's perfect for it. He could be like, who could he play?
I hope he's in some battle. That's right up his alley.
Some battle, just like as an extra or something. Maybe just gets like knifed or knifes somebody during the heat of the moment.
Maybe he'll throw a few punches.
He could. They usually have swords in battles, but
maybe they'll combine
there's
UFC
some scenario
and Game
where he
of
could
Thrones.
be in there. But yeah, Belfast Live reported that, and then Dana White, the president of the UFC, said in an interview that he'd been hearing about it for months. So it's not confirmed yet.
Dana
but
White and Connor are pretty tight, so he would probably know.
There you go. And why would he lie?
Exactly.
It's interesting because a lot of celebrities have tried to get a Game of Thrones over the years. You've had Daniel Radcliffe wanted a part, Helen Mirren wanted a part, Ed Sheeran
Daniel,
wanted a part.
let's not be picky, okay?
It's not be picky. What do you mean?
It's already Harry Potter.
I mean, he didn't want a big part. He just wanted to like die in like an episode or something. Minnie Driver lobbied for a part. And none of them got it, but they wanted Conor McGregor in that show. That could be fun.
It's fitting. I think it's a good fit.
So look out for him when season 7 and 8 debut. Any other questions or comments so far, Kyle?
No, they're, you're good, Dan.
That's good. All right, let's move on to the latest edition of Kayla Knows Nothing. Kayla Knierim's journey through Game of Thrones, one episode at a time. 'Cause remember, she has not seen it before and watching it as we go. You just watched Garden of Bones. Kayla, I'll give you the option. Should we just start with the ending or should we lead up to it?
I don't know. I literally just watched it 10 minutes ago and it's very fresh, unfortunately. What was that?
Okay, let's start with the ending. Let's do it.
I have so many questions.
This is the one where Melisandre gives birth to a demon shadow baby. The weirdest thing happened in the show so far, by far. And to this day, still a moment that kind of baffles people. What do you think happened?
At first I thought they were just going to like do it and then she undresses and lays on the ground and
She's pregnant.
gives birth.
Just remember that she and Stannis hooked up a couple episodes ago.
Right.
Oh, that was like a couple of weeks ago in the showtime, which was already 9 months.
Okay, I was wondering when that happened.
Oh yeah, it's not long ago.
So she had already been pregnant before that? Or if you have a demon,
I think it's
you
a
just
weird
get pregnant
demon
within
pregnancy.
days. Okay.
It just happens really quick.
It was like The Omen. Is that the movie where they have like a devil child?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have no idea. So was she involved in witchcraft before?
I mean, remember, she's the one who drank the poison and didn't kill her?
Yeah, so she's a little off
clearly she
anyway.
has some wackiness going on.
I'd say so.
Definitely. And she also made an appearance at the little parlay between Stannis and Renly, the two King Robert's younger brothers who are now fighting for the throne themselves.
Okay.
How did they get to that point? They're brothers. Why aren't they joining forces against the Lannisters?
I don't know. I don't know, Dan. Explain it.
Okay. Well, I think that's basically they both think they have the right to be king, and they don't want to give it up. Like Stannis is the younger brother of Robert, so he
They were the
legally
ones
has
on the
it.
ship talking at the end, right?
No. They were the ones who were meeting in the field with Catelyn
Okay.
and Melisandre.
Yes.
You had, the gay king with Loras. He's Robert's youngest brother, and then Stannis is, the kind of balding one who was on the ship too.
Got it.
Who had sex with Melisandre a couple episodes ago. And they met, and they parlayed, and they tried to intimidate each other, but it didn't work. And Catelyn was like, you two should just, good Lord, bury the hatchet. You're brothers. Stop fighting like this. That's the thing. They both think they both want to be king, and they're not willing to come together and work together. I think it's a shame.
I do. I don't think that's going to work very well.
I mean, if they did, they could defeat the Lannisters, and you want that.
We definitely want that.
Because they both have a common enemy, but they're just not willing to come together.
So yeah, that's silly. Okay, the one that was with Melisandre at the end.
Stannis. Oh no, that's Davos. They're both working for Stannis. Stannis is Robert's younger brother.
And he was
Melisandre.
supposed to go there and, was he supposed to kill her, or what was his role?
His role was
on the boat?
they're talking on the boat. Stannis wants Davos, who used to be a smuggler, like, run goods to and from
The one that
places
looks
with a
like
boat.
Captain John Smith from Titanic.
A little bit, yeah, with a beard. I can see that. He wanted her to smuggle her ashore, because apparently when you birth demon babies, it has to be ashore. It can't be in a boat. I'm not entirely sure why he had to do that. But he had to take her ashore so she could successfully do that ritual.
So they knew that was happening.
Oh yeah, he knew. Stannis knew. Davos did not know. Davos was surprised, didn't it look like?
He was freaked out.
I mean, wouldn't you be?
As anyone should be, yes.
Of course, he would be freaked out. It was terrifying. But no, Stannis knew something was going to happen. I mean, that's kind of the question right now. Who is this woman? Why does she have powers? And how much do they really all know about her?
And why did she just give birth to the devil?
That is true. Why? You'll find out what... I can tell you that it will do things that'll become a thing very, very quickly, as we'll see in the next episode.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on Stannis or Davos? How about Davos? Do you get any impression of him? Because he'll be around for a while. We haven't really talked about him much yet.
He seems kind of bossy.
Really? This is Davos. This is Captain
Just
Smith
kidding.
guy.
He seems, I like him so far. I mean, he hasn't really done anything.
No, I mean,
To
he
suggest
is very
otherwise.
loyal to Stannis, right?
Yeah.
That he smuggled ashore this crazy witch lady without asking many questions.
Yes, and yeah, he legit seemed freaked out.
Of course, again, why wouldn't you be? Let's stick in the same area here.
Question?
Oh, question here.
John Lervick wants to know, will we see Howland Reed again?
Will we see Howland Reed again, John Lervick? I don't know. He's alive. He hasn't died, so the option is always open. And Mira Reed is heading south, so it's possible, but I don't know. I hope we do. Another question?
Yes, this from, I believe it's Suyako Turner. What about the new Red Woman?
Ooh, the new Red Woman, Suyaku Turner. Yeah, there is...
Not Melisandre?
Yeah, there's a... that's what she's called. They were calling her that in the episode, right?
Yes.
Stannis was Red Woman. There's another one you'll meet a lot later, like kind of part of her, you know, whatever group she belongs to. The priestesses of this
Satan.
weirdo light. So you think she's bad? Definitely not.
I don't think it's good if you have a demon child.
What if she used to kill Joffrey?
That's okay.
It's okay. We're pretty flexible on it. It depends how it's
Take down
used.
Joffrey.
Let's stick at the Stormlands in Renly's whole war camp. Littlefinger stopped by
Yes.
and talked to a bunch of people. Let me just ask you just a general question. What's your take on this guy now? Because he talked to a lot of people and he seemed to be giving them some conflicting information.
I think he just, he's wishy-washy. He, I think, has a different take with every different person he comes into contact with.
Right? 'Cause
I don't trust him.
no, I think it's a good instinct because he's there for the Lannisters. Like Tyrion sent him there.
Right.
But he's telling Renly, maybe I'll open the gates for you at King's Landing. Mm-hmm.
And he was lying to Catelyn.
He lied to Catelyn. I mean, he implied that they still might have Arya.
He said both girls are there and safe.
Right. But he also said that he loved her. Do you believe that?
I kind of do, but he could also just be saying that to persuade her.
Right. And he gave her back Ned's body.
I was going to say, was that his head or what was that?
That's his body.
They never showed it.
It's like a big box. I think the implication is it's his body.
Oh, okay.
Because, it's a sign of respect, I think. You want to go bury him.
Right.
You're not just going to keep it here. It had to have been. I mean, it was way too big for just his head.
R.I.P. Ned.
R.I.P. Ned. It's too bad. So the question for Catelyn is, here's a question for you. Would you take that offer? Because the offer was, we'll exchange Arya and Sansa if you give us back Jaime. Like a prisoner exchange.
I would, but I don't feel like it's going to be that easy.
So you would, though. So you think she should?
I think, yeah, get her daughters back and give them back awful Jaime.
Fair enough. But then again, they can use Jaime as leverage against them. But then again, they can use Sansa and Arya as leverage against them. So maybe it'd be a wash.
I hope they don't, just because I know they don't have Arya. So that would be
Well, yeah, she'd also
not
be
a fair
lied
trade.
to. Right. We'll see how that develops in a minute. All right, that was actually like the thing I want to talk about last, but I guess there was no not talking about that demon baby thing once we started was there. Let's go up to elsewhere in the Riverlands with Robb.
Okay.
He sacks a Lannister camp. He kills a bunch of Lannisters. That's good. And then he meets this battlefield nurse who kind of gets
I
up in
liked
his
her.
business.
She was sassy.
Oh yeah?
I hope she comes back.
She does. Her name is Talisa, and she'll be around
There
for a
was
while.
some definite tension between them.
How so? Describe it.
Sexual tension?
Okay, that's good. We need romance on this show. We got violence. Why not? We also have sex. We want more sex.
Oh yeah, and we saw intestines this time.
It's on intestines?
Just like out and
Oh,
out.
gross. Does she have a point? Because she criticized Robb
Yes,
for...
absolutely.
I mean, you're fighting this war, but you don't have a plan for what comes after.
Right. She was criticizing him for the soldier whose leg or foot she had to amputate.
And that was a Lannister soldier, by the way.
Yes. But yeah, she had a point. Like, he didn't want to fight in this war. He was handed a sword. He's fighting for someone he's told to fight for.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really have a choice.
Like, he's fighting for the Lannisters, but he's not like a Lannister. He's just like
Exactly.
a soldier, and his luck is just...
She,
needs a
I think,
job.
put him in his place, and I think he liked it.
All right, good. I mean, also just the idea of... So, do you think that Robb should be at war in the first place? Because his cause is kind of just,
Yes.
but maybe do it a little differently?
Dan, these are such deep questions.
I know. That's the point of this. I want to dig into this.
I think he has a point. I get sad that innocent people are put in harm's way because of it,
Right.
when it should just be the Lannisters.
Well,
And the
she'll be
Lannisters
back, and maybe they can have more exchanges about that and come to some kind of agreement or help each other.
Okay, good.
Let's move on to Arya, who, again, had some bad luck and some good luck this time. She and Gendry and the little fat friend Hot Pie are all taken to... His name is... I think he has a real name, I'm sure.
You can
That's
put Hot Pie in my top 5 favorites.
Are taken to this place called Harrenhal. Big old castle. Lannisters are in charge of it.
Awful.
Awful. What's happening here?
Well, they're being held as prisoners,
Right.
and they take one each day and kill them.
After trying to get information out
Right.
of them that no one seems to know. They don't really care.
Right. Just to, torture them, freak everyone else out, and kill them slowly.
What's Arya's deal with those names she's repeating at night?
I think she's trying to remember people.
Remember that they're the names people she wants to kill. It's
Oh, wait,
Cersei,
I thought she was
Joffrey.
saying family members. Did I
No,
miss?
she was just
Oh.
saying like Cersei, Joffrey,
Okay,
the
so-
Hound, and now the Mountain.
Reminding herself who she wants to kill when she gets free.
Remember, that's what Yoren, that Night's Watch guy who died last time, told her. He repeated the name of the guy he wanted to kill over and over and
yeah.
over before bed.
You're right.
So she's picking up on that and kind of making it her little mantra.
Making it her mission. That keeps you motivated.
Exactly.
Keeps
Motivate
you
yourself.
in the game, alive.
To kill people. Because that's her goal with those people. Get revenge. Joffrey, Cersei.
As it should be.
As it should be. At the end, a Lannister, a big Papa Lannister, walks in and kind of helps her out.
Gendry was almost toast.
Yes. Very close. That was, I forgot that, by the way. The whole rat on like the...
So there was an animal in the bucket?
There were a couple of rats in the bucket, and they light the other end on fire, so the rats have to dig through your stomach to get away.
What is wrong with people? That's disgusting. So they eat through them before they really even get burned?
That's the torture. Oh yeah. The torture
Ew.
isn't the fire. The torture is making the rats go through you. It's gross. I mean, we don't have to say it's not
These
gross.
times.
Again, these times. Which aren't real, but I'm sure it's based on something. Medieval torture. Anyway, but then Tywin comes along, Tywin Lannister, and helps her out. What do you think of that?
They called her out. You knew immediately she was a girl.
I like that too.
Yeah.
He was not even like a little bit. Like everyone else is dumb. He sees right through it.
And he asked her why she was disguising herself, and she said it's easier to travel.
It's true. If you're a woman in these times, again, it's probably safer to pretend you're a
Safer,
boy.
right.
Because then there's only a threat of violence, not violence and rape.
And then he kind of took her with him.
Yeah.
And we don't...
She's going to be his little page boy. page girl.
At least she's safe.
Yes, at least safe for now. But remember, he is a Lannister, so maybe he should go at some point too.
Right.
Moving on, we check back in with Daenerys this week. Got to the city of Karth.
Finally, they're getting help.
They're somewhere. How'd she handle that negotiation at the front gates with all those dudes?
Like a boss.
I mean, you think so? Because...
At first it wasn't going well, and then
They were going to abandon her.
Right. And then I guess the one guy kind of took favor upon her.
Vouched for her.
Yes.
Why didn't she just,
Show them the
show
dragon?
the dragons like they wanted?
It's a good question. I wondered that too.
Okay, I mean, I think there's
Because he said
probably
he's never seen
Right.
a living dragon.
Why not just take it out?
Hey, she has some. Is it because of production again?
I think it's been part of it. They can't afford much. I also think probably she didn't want to give up the high ground. You know, if she takes them
Ooh,
out,
yeah,
they can
leverage.
take them. Mm-hmm. But she doesn't want to give them up.
This
And they
gives her
have a
the
lot
upper
more.
hand.
There are a lot more of them, and they have more weapons.
Okay. Good point.
But I also think that helped too. They cost a lot of money, dragons, so you can't show them all. And finally, stop by King's Landing, where, oh god, this is pretty brutal too.
Ugh.
Where Sansa's being
He is
humiliated.
the worst. I hate Joffrey. He's my least favorite.
I would agree with you on this assessment. He is terrible.
He's just a horrible human being. Yeah, he's torturing Sansa because of her brother,
Robb sacked the Lannister camp. Which
Right.
I noticed that I think Robb said afterwards, like, we can't torture the Lannister prisoners or else they might hurt Sansa or Arya. And like, well, you don't need to bother not torturing them because they're
looking
gonna
out,
kill her
bro.
anyway.
Yeah, torturing her, like acting like he's gonna kill her, then puts it down, like just mind games.
Having her beaten in front of everybody in the courtroom.
Ripping her dress off.
How do you deal with someone like that?
How do you
Because
marry someone like that?
against your will? But again,
he's-
after she was done with it, she told Tyrion, like, I love him, I'm going to marry him. Why?
Because she's psycho. I don't know why you
think?
would. No, I just don't know why you'd want to marry that.
I don't think
Is
she
she
wants to.
brainwashed at this point, or is she just
No.
playing along with the game?
I think she's playing along. I
Okay,
think she
I hope
knows that if
so.
she says she hates him, that's just going to make it worse. She has to pretend, or
Exactly.
they're going to grill her more than they already have, which it's already pretty bad. At least she's not in this dungeon somewhere.
Right. It's
And-
probably next.
Tyrion helped her out, though.
I love Tyrion.
He had a good episode this time.
He
yeah.
did.
Came by.
He's like
helped
the
her out.
knight in shining armor
Yeah,
around the
he is.
Lannister camp.
Like 3 feet tall. Yeah. he tries.
The tiny knight.
And he also tried to help Joffrey, kind of. They had a theory that maybe his problem was due to being sexually frustrated.
Right. And then
But
that
that also backfired in a
went
huge
horribly
way.
wrong.
How do they deal with this? How do you deal with a guy like Joffrey who's terrible and has all this power?
I don't know, because he was going to kill him if they didn't do what he said, and
Right.
then he made one of the prostitutes beat the other
Yeah, it's
one.
awful,
It was
awful,
so bad.
Now it's intended as like a way
He's
to...
sick. He's a sick person.
Maybe there is no way to deal with him. Maybe it's just kill him. Maybe that's the only thing you can
He's
do.
got to go down.
And finally, that little scene with where Lancel Lannister is working, who's sleeping with Cersei, came and tried to kind of get up in Tyrion's business, and he flipped him really, really quick.
Tyrion knows everything that's going on.
That's
I
pretty
love
funny.
it.
I liked how quickly he crumbled.
Yeah.
It wasn't even kind of sort of quick or protracted. He put up no resistance.
None.
And now he's a Tyrion spy, basically.
I love it.
Do you think Cersei might get wind of that?
Probably eventually, but
Because remember, that guy, he like cracked fast. Like it did not take much.
yeah, no backbone on him.
No. And I think that was everything. Any final thoughts? Looking forward to anything? Dreading anything?
Well, I have no idea what's going to happen with this demon.
Yeah,
We're
that's got to
left
be
off
question
with.
number one, isn't it? It's a
Question
weird
number one,
cliffhanger.
yes.
We'll find out what happens next week, or we'll bring you more spoilers, more news, more discussion, and more of Kayla's journey through Game of Thrones. Thanks for watching. Any other
See you
questions or
next
comments before we go?
time.
Cool. All right, adios.